Welcome. Please be seated. Welcome to the 158th commencement of Bates College. Whether you are joining us in person on our historic quad or by live stream from across the country and around the world, we are delighted to have you with us on this joyous occasion. Before beginning our program, I'd like to invite you in thanking the events and facilities staff and everyone else who worked so hard to prepare this event so beautifully. Let's thank them. While we have celebrating to do today, we also mark the Memorial Day holiday in honor of the many who have served and sacrificed so much. We express our gratitude. Now, this is a moment when we gather as a community to celebrate the accomplishments, aspirations, and wonderment of the remarkable class of 2024. Of course, it's worth noting that this class's experience was bookended by unusual and unsettling events. Their college careers began, of course, in 2020. You remember 2020, right? The midst of a global pandemic on one end, and in the fall of their senior year, they were forced into a 3-day lockdown by a tragic mass shooting event here in our hometown of Lewiston. The Bates class of 2024 has been tested, and they have persevered. They have taken on everything that has come their way, and they have thought deeply about their personal relationships to local, national, and global events. And yes, we can clap for that. But what I find so remarkable about that is that in doing so, they've also found joy and strength in one another, in connections, in relationships. So let us take a moment to applaud these graduates for all that they have achieved on the road to this wonderful moment of celebration. Now, seniors, soon-to-be graduates, to recognize and return the appreciation for all of your family, your friends, your loved ones who are here or spread across the globe, and for the faculty and staff who have been behind you, supporting you, encouraging you at every point along your path to this momentous milestone. I invite you to stand as you are able and show them your thanks and appreciation. Yes, show them, show them. Do you appreciate them? Thank you. Members of the class of 2024, you are a brilliantly accomplished group. 437 of you will march across this stage this morning, representing 36 states and the District of Columbia and 19 countries. 51 of you are the first in your family to graduate from college. You have knit this campus and community together over the past 4 years through your engagement and leadership as RCs and JAs, club presidents, members of student government, debaters, team captains in athletics. You have inspired us with your gifts of music, performance, art making, research, thesis writing, and endless intellectual curiosity. You have served as OIE, multi-faith, admission, and purposeful work fellows, as eco-reps, as Bonner leaders, and so much more. A whopping 87 of you are double majors, overachievers. 28 of you received departmental honors for a year-long thesis. 48% of you have studied abroad. 43% of you have participated in a varsity sport while at Bates, many winning all NESCAC honors, and even some being named All-Americans, including one yesterday. Three of you have won highly prestigious Fulbright fellowships, and one of you won a Truman Scholarship. All of this you have achieved while giving back, especially here in Lewiston, giving thousands of hours to community-engaged learning and research, volunteering, community work study, and other forms of informed civic action. You are off to continue your education in fields like chemistry, urban and environmental planning, journalism, business administration, engineering. You will study at MIT, Columbia, Emory, the University of Virginia, Yale, and more. You are launching exciting careers in teaching in Madrid, in healthcare in Boston, in finance in New York City, in consulting in Washington, D.C., in law in Chicago, and so on and so on. And some of you are still deciding what's next, or taking more time to open up the doors you wish to walk through. We are excited for all of you, and we know that your liberal arts education will leave you well poised to flourish and to make meaningful contributions, whatever you pursue. Although you have experienced the end of high school and some of college in the context of very particular challenges, you have turned outward, not inward, and you have recognized the value of community and devised new ways to establish and strengthen it. In short, you have demonstrated and acquired grit. You have grit. Now, your parents, grandparents, maybe the aunts and uncles and friends who are, let's face it, my generation and older here, you'll remember the classic bit of television history when Lou Grant, who was an older senior mentor, tells a young, early in her career, Mary Richards, "You have spunk." And then he paused and said, "I hate spunk." Well, I don't hate grit. I love grit. And by grit, I mean a kind of perseverance, stick-to-itiveness, an ability to adapt to circumstances and keep pushing forward. To put an even finer point on it, I mean what the psychologist Angela Duckworth outlines in her seminal work on the topic. Grit means passion and perseverance for long-term goals. Grit means having an ultimate concern, a goal that you care about so much that it organizes and gives meaning to almost everything you do. Grit is a key to success, just as talent and luck are. Now, while grit is not technically one of our required MOIs or modes of inquiry, it wasn't a major or a minor or a GEC that you could have taken here at Bates. It's not an official barometer of your performance, but it is unquestionably a component of the skill set you have built up over these past 4 years. Think about it. In healthcare, patients have long depended on the grit of individual doctors and nurses. If I need a lawyer to solve a complex problem, you bet I hope that they have grit. To discover the undiscovered or produce something of beauty, you have to have grit. It takes grit to remove stubborn institutional and structural barriers that undermine equality and belonging. I want professionals with a tremendous and a relentless push for improvement and excellence. The ability to find the means to transcend the inevitable roadblocks that one encounters in life and outside and inside organizations. All of that. To do that, it takes grit. If you want to take your Bates degree and become an author or shape public policy on thorny issues, you will need grit. If you want to use technology to solve complex problems or found a startup one day that serves unmet needs, it's not going to be an easy road. You'll need a healthy dose of grit and perseverance to see it to success. But don't think of grit as an on-off switch. Either you have it or you don't. Instead, think of it like a muscle, something you have to maintain or might even strengthen over time. Now, all of you graduating today have a head start from your life experience in grit, but you can continue to grow and improve it. This is important because I think most successful people, as I said, will tell you that grit is a critical element of success. Talent helps, intelligence helps, but effort, especially in the face of headwinds and challenges, is almost always part of the story. Lean into this grit, this resolve and resiliency that you've developed. Practice and further cultivate your ability and stamina to take on challenges as you encounter them, to adjust to changed circumstances, to make the best of less than ideal situations, to regroup when you're knocked off your planned course, to persevere. To be sure, grit alone isn't a magic cure-all, but combined with passion and purpose, and dare I say it, purposeful work, grit can be a secret, powerful weapon. Now, when you look back at your time at Bates, I hope that you will remember that your success was hard-earned. You enriched this college and the broader community through your creativity, your engagement, and your intrepid spirits. You made connections that will last a lifetime, and that you are forever a part of the Bates community, and Bates is forever a part of you. Each of you has the capacity to contribute to organizations, to communities, to disciplines and industries, and to do that, stay on your path, the one that's right for you, not someone else. Stay committed to a lifetime of learning, stay healthy and tend to your well-being, stay engaged in the issues that matter to you most, take good care of yourselves, your families, your friends, your institutions, including your alma mater. The world needs you, and I'm so proud of the ways I know that you will meet those needs. All of us, your Bates family, we are so very, very proud of you. Thank you. Now, enough for me, it's not lost on me, that this may be the first real graduation ceremony that many of you had. I say that because COVID robbed many of you of the experience of walking across the stage, of receiving a real diploma from a real person, and hugging and cheering with your families and friends and classmates. So let's make this one count, shall we? It's now my pleasure to introduce the senior speaker from the class of 2024, Yuwing Zhang.
Thank you, President Jenkins. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to families and friends from all over the globe gathered here today to celebrate the commencement of the amazing Bates class of 2024. I would like to give a special shout out to my 83-year-old tech enthusiast grandma, who inspires me to live life to the fullest every single day and posts more on her social media more than I do. Watching live currently in China. 亲爱的姥姥，晚上好. I love you so much. Four years flew by, and here we are, class of 2024. Wrapping up a journey that kicked off at our first convocation. Back then, with our families cheering us on, we delved headfirst into this adventure that was as much about acing classes as it was about surviving on ice cream and Coke for the day and swiping into comments more times than we can count in a day. This campus turned into our little sanctuary, a place of comfort during the craziest times as we began to explore who we are. Sure, it wasn't always smooth sailing. We've had our share of oops moments, like studying nonstop and still not acing that test, or realizing just how tough college can be. Yet, we persevered, drawing lessons not only from our victories, but from our setbacks as well. Now, as we stand on the brink of a new chapter, let's give a heartfelt shout out to everyone who supported us along this amazing journey, our families, friends, professors, and the kind strangers whose smiles were rays of sunshine during darkest days. A heartfelt thank you to each one of you for being an integral part of this amazing journey. Thank you so much. As an international student from China, I have to travel over 2 days to arrive at Bates. According to Google Maps, there are 11,959 kilometers from my hometown, Changsha City, Hunan Province, to Lewiston, Maine. If you ask any international students about the times they find most daunting on campus, atop their list, you will likely find Parents' Weekend, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. These are periods marked not by joyous reunions, but by a palpable sense of solitude, as our peers depart for the warmth of family gatherings, leaving behind those whose homes lie oceans away. Such was the case last Thanksgiving for me, a journey I embarked upon alone, save for the company of an Uber driver to the fluorescent aisles of Walmart. My mission was simple: gather ingredients to cook a feast for one, a small act of defiance against the loneliness that the holiday season often brings. Armed with a shopping cart, I navigated through the aisles with a sense of purpose, filling it with more items than I had planned, each addition a hopeful gesture towards creating the something that felt more like home. I had in my wallet a credit card and limited cash, seemingly sufficient for my modest feast. Yet, when the cashier tallied my selections, my credit card was denied for no reason. Frustrated, I began to count my cash, only to find myself falling short, a shortfall that led me to reluctantly select items to return. It was at this moment of quiet defeat that an angelic figure stepped forward. Without hesitation, she offered to cover the gap, a gesture of kindness that left me stumbling over words of gratitude. "May I please have your name and number so I can repay you?" I asked, to which she responded with a smile that seemed to embody the essence of home itself. "No, sweetheart, next time you see someone in need, don't hesitate to help them out," she said, her voice imbued with kindness and a wisdom that transcended the moment. Her simple act of generosity resonated within me. She illuminated a truth I had struggled to find amidst a shadow of loneliness. Home is not solely a place of origin, but a tapestry of connections, moments, and acts of kindness that anchor us to the world. Lewiston, with its quaint streets and the seasonal kaleidoscope of changing leaves, had slowly woven itself into the fabric of my life, thread by thread. It had been a gradual acceptance, punctuated by moments of longing for the familiar comforts of my homeland. Yet, in this singular act of kindness, I found a profound sense of belonging that had eluded me. The generosity of the women in the supermarket was a testament to the community spirit, a reminder that even in our most solitary moments, we're not alone. It taught me that home could be anywhere, even in places where we least expect, and often it is the kindness of others that makes us feel most at home. As Lewiston embraced me with its unexpected warmth, I realized that these moments of kindness are the true essence of community, transforming an unfamiliar place into a haven of belonging. Yet, this burgeoning sense of belonging and community was jarringly disrupted on October 25th, 2023. The tranquility that had enveloped Lewiston was shattered by the sound of gunfire, plunging the town into a state of fear and uncertainty. The nights that followed were restless, with students seeking refuge in libraries, classrooms, and the safety of their own homes, each lost in sleepless contemplation. But even as darkness enveloped our community, the spirit of Bates remained unbroken, shining through like a beacon of resilience. Fear never got the best of us. Instead of succumbing to despair, we reached out, checking in on friends, weaving a tighter web of concern and solidarity. In those moments of vulnerability, our community found strength, rallying together to reclaim the sense of security that had been momentarily stolen from us. In the face of adversity, Bates showed its true beauty, a community undeterred, united in the conviction that together we could weather any storm and stay Lewiston strong. This unparalleled demonstration of community spirit at Bates in times of crisis laid the groundwork for a broader lesson, a lesson about the importance of extending our care and concern beyond the immediate circles of familiarity. Bates taught us that caring for the community means engaging with the world at large, with communities rooted in differences, yet bound by the shared human experience. Our response to the crisis was a microcosm of the larger societal challenges we face, underscoring the importance of solidarity, empathy, and action across diverse communities. It highlighted the imperative to not only stand together in times of internal adversity, but to extend that spirit of unity and support to broader societal challenges, bridging differences and fostering an inclusive community that values and protects all its members. Through our experiences at Bates, we've learned that the true measure of the community's strength lies in its ability to come together in support of one another, not just within the safety of familiar surroundings, but in the broader landscape of diverse and interconnected communities. As we, the graduates, venture forth, We carry with us the indomitable spirit at Bates, poised to be catalysts for changing in a world that yearns for unity and understanding. We've learned that building communities isn't about diminishing differences, but about embracing them, weaving together the varied strands of human experience into a stronger, more inclusive fabric. Our time at Bates has not just prepared us academically, it has equipped us with the vision and the resolve to create communities where empathy, support, and action are the cornerstones. We step out not only just as graduates, but as ambassadors of the Bates spirit, ready to infuse the world with the values of collaboration, diversity, and community engagement to be change makers in every sense. Our journey from the gates of Bates into the vast expanse of the world is a transition from one form of community to another, with the mission to spread the ethos of understanding, support, and unity that Bates had so deeply ingrained in us. Congratulations, and thank you so much.
We are joined today by three extraordinary individuals with whom our graduates will share the distinction of a Bates degree. It is now my privilege to confer the honorary degrees for the 158th commencement of Bates College. I invite Malcolm Hill, Vice President of Academic Affairs and Dean of the Faculty, to join me for the presentation of the honorands.
President Jenkins, I present Richard Blanco. For all of those in the audience today who graduate as dance majors planning to go to medical school, or religion and physics double majors, for anyone who has embraced one of the myriad disparate ways of knowing the world that the liberal arts present to strong, curious, and open minds, we offer you our first honorand, the poet engineer. In so many ways, and like so many of us, he contains multitudes. In his own framing, he was made in Cuba, formed in Spain, and imported to the United States. He grew up in the sunshine of Miami, Florida, and now lives in the mountains of Bethel, Maine. He holds a bachelor's degree in civil engineering and a Master of Fine Arts in creative writing. He is all of these things and more, including one of the foremost American poets of the 21st century. We may know him best as the poet who spoke so powerfully at President Barack Obama's second inauguration, the youngest poet, the first gay and Latino poet ever to read his work at a US presidential inauguration. In a dark wool coat with a strong, sure voice, he shared One Today, a poem of unity amid discord, commonality amid difference. One sun rose on us today, he said, one ground, one sky, our sky. His central theme is the idea of home, where we find it, how we create it, when and if we carry it with us or shed it in search of a newer version that fits more comfortably. Sometimes, he says, the poem, the art itself, is the home. He is the author of several collections of poetry, including 2023's Homeland of My Body, New and Selected Poems, and of a memoir, The Prince of Los Cocuyos. He has won a Lambda Literary Award, a Pan American Center Beyond Margins Award, the Agnes Lynch Starrett National Poetry Prize, and the 2021 National Humanities Medal, where he was cited for powerful storytelling that challenges the boundaries of culture, gender, and class while celebrating the promise of our nation's highest ideals. He has taught at American, Georgetown, Wesleyan, and Florida International Universities, and he was artist in residence at Colby College's Lunder Institute for American Art. Miami and Maine, artist and teacher, poet and engineer, Richard Blanco and Richard de Jesus Valdez Blanco, we celebrate all that you are and all the ways you help us find home for ourselves. I present Richard Blanco for the degree Doctor of Letters.
Richard Blanco, poet of art and science, you are an architect of feeling, an engineer of meaning. Your work, the gift of deeper knowledge of home and self. Therefore, by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree Doctor of Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining.
President Jenkins, I present Ava Clayton Spencer. We hope that our next honorand will forgive us for beginning with her recognition with a thought she so often shared with us. But it is not too much to say that for a generation of Bates students and those who taught and worked alongside them, our next guest may be best remembered for her frequent exhortation, borrowed from E.E. Cummings, to have the courage to grow up and become who you really are. As president of Bates College from 2012 to 2023, she instilled this philosophy in each new class of students at admissions events and opening convocations. Even more, she gave Bates students the means of turning the thought into a powerful reality. Nowhere was this truer than in the gift of purposeful work. Beginning with her inaugural address in 2012, she made clear that a deep aspect of our obligation as a liberal arts college is to prepare our students for lives of purposeful work, to wrestle actively and joyously with the world as we encounter it, and in so doing, to model this mindset for our students as they work to construct their own lives. Over the next several years, this philosophy was nurtured and refined and became the driving force behind what Bates students now know as the Center for Purposeful Work, an approach to life and career with which a stunning 98% of our students engage with over their time at Bates, and which has been studied and honored and imitated by institutions across the country. In this way, and many more, our guest took a well-regarded liberal arts college and made it more an innovative, inclusive, and effective version of itself. Under her leadership, applications for admission more than doubled. Bates's endowment more than doubled. She led strategic improvements to the academic program, centered equity and inclusion as animating values in Bates's curriculum, teaching, student life, and daily work, and adapted and added to the physical infrastructure of the campus to enhance how our community lives, works, and learns. And her legacy extends far beyond our fair campus. She has been one of the leading figures in American higher education for over 3 decades, serving as Chief Education Counsel to the U.S. Senate Committee on Labor and Human Resources under U.S. Senator Edward M. Kennedy, and directing education legislation and policy in the Senate. She came to Bates after spending more than 15 years on the senior leadership team at Harvard University, including 7 as Vice President for Policy. And she has served on the boards of the American Council on Education, the National Association of Independent Colleges and Universities, and the Annapolis Group of Liberal Arts Colleges, among others. Today, she continues to serve as a member of the steering committee for the Coalition for Transformational Education. I present Ava Clayton Spencer for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
Clayton Spencer, for 11 years of service and a universe of progress. For all you have given to Bates and to American higher education, we offer our deepest gratitude and enduring esteem. Therefore, by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining.
President Jenkins, I present Mary Louise Kelly. In the book blurb for our final honorand's most recent work, It Goes So Fast, The Year of No Do-Overs, Ann Patchett writes glowingly of our guests' tremendous insight into how we struggle to be true to ourselves and the people we love. She adds, "This book is the voice of solidarity. It is a gift." Indeed, our last honorand and commencement speaker has built a tremendously accomplished and influential career as a voice of solidarity. She is an author and a journalist, and for the past 6 years, the literal voice in our ears during late-day commutes as co-host of NPR's All Things Considered. She uses her voice on behalf of her listeners and fellow citizens, asking the tough questions, the crucial questions, the questions on all of our minds about the issues that matter most to us in the world. For 3 decades, at NPR and elsewhere, she has provided the highest degree of service as an award-winning journalist, seeking authenticity over artifice, sharing well-researched facts, and informing the public about the forces at work in our society and their impact on our lives. Before joining All Things Considered, she served for a decade as NPR News' national security correspondent, reporting on summits of global leaders, terrorism, and the CIA, among other topics of international importance. She has worked for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the BBC Public Radio International, CNN, and the BBC World Service, and she serves as a contributing editor at The Atlantic. But as she writes in It Goes So Fast, no matter your commitment to your work and your craft, a call informing you that your child is sick and needs you can change your focus in a heartbeat. And when you get that call while dressed in body armor, about to board a Black Hawk helicopter in Baghdad, and your sick child is in Washington, D.C., you're bound to need a moment to take stock. It Goes So Fast is that the story of that process, of assessing one's life and figuring out how to give time and care and attention to the things that matter most. Here, again, our honorand offers the voice of solidarity for all parents who have struggled to bring family and career and self into something resembling balance, for all people who have sought change in their own lives and the courage to bring it about. I present Mary Louise Kelly for the degree Doctor of Letters.
Mary Louise Kelly, in your journalism, in your novels and memoir, in every aspect of your life, you have modeled an uncommon degree of empathy for all people, no matter their circumstances, no matter their views. True to your vocation, true to yourself, true to your audience, making of your work an offering for which we are profoundly grateful. Therefore, by the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree Doctor of Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining.
Good morning.
Morning.
Class of 2024, congratulations. I am thrilled for you. I am thrilled to get to visit Bates. I am thrilled to receive an honorary degree. I am absolutely calling myself a Bates alum from here on out. I also want to acknowledge that I am thrilled we are here at all, because there were moments this spring that did not feel like a given, as other colleges were shut down by protests, as graduation ceremonies were canceled or relocated. And I want to offer a thought or two on that before I move on. As a member of the Free Press, I tend to come down on the side of free speech. As a broadcaster who interviews people every day, who may see the world very differently than I do, I come down on the side of institutions that make space for a whole range of views, even views with which I or you may fervently disagree. Not every day, but on the best days, I have the privilege of working in a field of doing a job, journalism, that can help right injustice, expose wrongdoing, hold people in positions of power to account. And so I stand with all of those in our great, messy, chaotic, great democracy who choose to raise their voices on behalf of those who cannot. I also believe that along with the rights and freedoms of our great democracy come responsibilities, among them the obligation to educate ourselves on history, on geography, on the literature and art that bring beauty to our days, on the work of serious writers and reporters who are doing their best to keep us informed on the state of our nation and our world. I believe we are capable of celebrating strong and honest differences of opinion, even as we respect a common set of facts. And I congratulate you at Bates for working to find ways to do that this past year. This brings me to my work as a journalist. As you just heard, I anchor NPR's evening news program, All Things Considered. My voice, for some of you, may have been the soundtrack of your parents driving you home. You're in the back seat, you're coming home from soccer practice or piano lessons. If you have ever heard me on the radio, you have likely heard me say, "In the time we have left." I'm signaling to whoever I am speaking with that no matter how fascinating you are, no matter how big a deal you are, we are out of time, I gotta wrap things up. I mention this as a cue to all of you. I am very good at making sure that things do not run long on All Things Considered, not a single second over their allotted time. I am professionally trained not to drone on. Let that be a reassurance today. So it is true that I wrote a book, and I wrote it as a parent, and I was grappling with my own children leaving for college. So the parents out there may relate to some of this in a different way than you grads will. But the writing of this book allowed me to reflect on the choices that got me here and made me think about all the things I wish I had known in my 20s. So I want to share a couple of stories that may be useful to you, the Bates class of 2024. First, on the meaning of success. It's 3 years ago. I am at the University of Chicago. I'm with my oldest son, college visit. And as we walk around campus, he keeps up a running commentary about all the things he's noticing and he's curious about, but the statistic that he has already memorized from the info session is this: an acceptance rate of 83 to 93% for UChicago students to the top 15 US law schools. That's really impressive, isn't it? He asks. And yeah, I agree, it sure is. Should we walk over and look at the law school later? So we do. It is also impressive. It is only later that I get to thinking, good God, you poor kids. My son, zillions of other high school seniors, just like him, not even at college yet, and already sweating grad school applications. Perhaps some of you can relate. I want to whisper to my son, just enjoy this moment, this one. Stop thinking about the next step and the one after that. I am admittedly lousy at heeding this advice myself. I am ambitious, I always have been, and there is a relentless quality to ambition. The writer George Saunders captures it beautifully in his book, Congratulations, by the way. You do well in high school, he writes, in the hopes of getting into a good college, so you can do well in the good college. In the hopes of getting a good job, so you can do well in the good job, so you see where this is going. Still, Saunders continues, accomplishment is unreliable. Succeeding, whatever that might mean to you, is hard, and the need to do so constantly renews itself. Success is like a mountain that keeps growing ahead of you as you hike it. There is the very real danger that succeeding will take up your whole life, while the big questions go untended. Amen to that. So that is my first piece of advice. Take it from me and George Saunders. Accomplishment is unreliable. Success can be a treadmill. It can obscure the actual living of life. Try not to let it. Second piece of advice, so much of life depends on what we choose to see. When my younger son, the other one, was 2, I took an extended leave from NPR to stay home with him. I didn't know if I would ever go back. Alexander was struggling with speech delay. He needed speech therapy and other interventions, and I didn't see how I could delegate that to a babysitter, so I stepped away from my job. This is how I came to be pushing a baby stroller down M Street in Washington, D.C. one day. I had applesauce clotted in my hair. I was singing to Alexander because we had been told, keep talking to him, keep verbalizing, even if he doesn't answer. And we were nearly at our neighborhood park when I spotted a familiar face coming out the door of this very chic coffee shop. It was a woman named Annie, who was also a reporter with another major news organization. Our beats had overlapped. She had scooped me more than once. She was good. And I remembered that she had been pregnant around the same time and that she must have a kid around the same age as Alexander. So I called her name, and she cocked her head and she kind of looked at me as though she were struggling to place me. And I suddenly saw myself through her eyes. I was probably wearing ancient Gap jeans from my own college years and a stretched out sweatshirt, and it had been many moons since lipstick or mascara had touched my face. I cannot be sure, but if I had to hazard a guess, I was wearing scuffed up old clogs, and I was carrying a Ziploc baggie of Cheerios, and I was belting out the chorus of the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Annie, meanwhile, looked the same as every other time I had ever seen her. Killer suit, killer heels, in a hurry, no applesauce detectable in her hair. So we chatted briefly, and then she said she had to run. She had an interview at the White House, and her arm shut up, and this taxi appeared, and in a flash, she and her stilettos and her gloriously applesauce-free hair were gone. Friends, I would love to report that I carried on with the morning unperturbed and blissfully at peace with my life choices. I did not. I felt like I had been slapped. Not by Annie, but by what she represented, which was everything that I had given up. The places I wanted to go, the chance to apply my degrees and training and my ambition to purposeful work. For the record, I did not steal purposeful work. From Bates, I am aware of how former President Spencer and the rest of you have adopted that idea there, and bravo. It wasn't that I regretted my life choices. I loved my son. I knew that the work we were doing was important and that it could not be outsourced. It was that Annie had not recognized me. And in that moment, seeing myself through her eyes, I didn't recognize myself. Well, time passed. Alexander started speaking. The kid talked when he was ready. I went back to work as a correspondent covering the Pentagon. And when Annie and I, a few years later, bumped into each other again outside a wine bar, it was Annie who spied me first. She recognized me. We said, "Hi, how are you? How's your work? How's your kid?" And then she said, "You know, I cried all day after that time I bumped into you." What? Like, why? And she said, "Because of how sweet you looked. You were headed off to the park together, and it was this beautiful morning. And there I was, stressed out and squeezed into Spanx, and off to interview some senior administration official who wouldn't even let me quote him by name, while I paid a stranger at daycare to take my baby to the park. And I spent the rest of the day thinking, what the hell am I doing?" "Yeah, but I was a mess," I protested. "You looked happy. Your son looked happy." "I was terrified I had thrown away my career," I told her. "You were singing," she said softly. My takeaway from this encounter has evolved over the years. It is, of course, the classic tale of how the grass is always greener, of how maybe the secret to a happy life isn't so much about making the right choices as learning to live with the choices we do make. If I ever bump into Annie again, I want to say this. I have thought of you so many times, how we looked at each other and all we could see were our own shortcomings, how we beat ourselves up for failing to accomplish the impossible, for failing to find a way to be in two places at the same time, when in fact, we and our babies were doing just fine, when the world could not have cared less whether we showed up in stilettos or scuffed up clogs, whether our hair was sleek or sticky with applesauce, whether we were headed to the White House or to the playground. All that was required of me, it turns out, was that I see myself through her eyes. Not as some frumpy has-been, as I imagine she saw, but as a radiant mother on a radiant sun-streaked morning, teaching her son to raise his voice in song. So much of life depends on what we choose to see. Okay, in the time we have left, one last piece of advice. Hold on to the friendships you have made these last 4 years. For me, it is a group of 11 women, my roommates. One of them is here today. Hello, Meg Swift. Privately and a little sheepishly, we refer to ourselves as the FONS, F-O-N-S, the forces of nature. Our husbands came up with this moniker so many years ago that they enjoyed mere boyfriend status at the time, and I choose to believe it is meant affectionately. Jeff Swift, you can fact check me on that. They were trying to capture that we forces of nature were unpredictable and a lot of trouble, but definitely not boring. And today we live all over the country, but we gather in person, all of us, at least once a year. These women's faces, their voices are as familiar to me as my own. We were the maids of honor at each other's weddings. We are godmothers to each other's children. These women would drop everything and get on a plane to help me if I needed them to, and I know this because they have done it. It was mentioned that I interviewed Ann Patchett, the novelist who is my favorite author, and the first time I spoke with her, we spoke about friendship. She told me she has made plenty of good friends as an adult, but that, and I quote, "There is a quality of youthful friendship that is based on wasting time together, having just whole days when you are making no plans." This rings true. In my experience, the bond with college friends is forged less when you are engaged in anything constructive, anything resembling purposeful work. It's more over those nights when you're up together in the wee hours, scarfing pizza, procrastinating on a paper that you have had 3 weeks to write that is due at 9 the next morning, and arguing over whether it would be a good idea to get the name of the cute guy who you snogged last weekend tattooed on your left ankle. Answer, no, very bad idea. And I hope you have not already learned this life lesson. The friendships you have made at Bates, the real ones, will matter to you. They will enrich your life all the years ahead. So cherish them, fight for them. Class of 2024, thank you for letting me be part of this happy, happy day. Be wary of the success treadmill. Remember that so much of life depends on what we choose to see. And hold each other close. Congratulations. Thank you.
The baccalaureate degrees for the class of 2024 will now be conferred. We request that family and friends withhold applause until the entire list of graduating seniors has been called and until the senior class marshals have directed all members of the class to move their tassel from right to left, thereby signifying the confirmation of the degree. So we will have an opportunity to do that together at the conclusion of the walking of the stage.
Will the class please stand? President Jenkins, I have the honor to present those candidates before you and those others whose names appear on the program. They have been recommended by the faculty as having completed all appropriate academic requirements for the degree Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, and they present themselves to you for the confirmation of their degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer on you the degree Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. You may be seated.
I will read the names in alphabetical order. Will the members of the class of 2024 please come forward to receive their diplomas? Noah Matthew Ackerman. Grace Kennedy Acton. Jacob Park Adler. Abhishek Anthony Agarwal. Adya Agarwal. Harriet Achin Odum. Salma Abdi Ali. David Alfred Allen Jr. Zvia McLeod Althausen. Christine Elizabeth Amen. Miles Daniel Anderson. Rebecca Lily Anderson. Bryce Dennis Kweku Ansa. Luca Loretto McLean Antolini. Alexander Philip Archer. George William Aristides. Shelby Kappa Armour. Emma Sarah Austin. Dylan Jonathan Uthcart-Ite. Ethan Collins Baker. Nerea Barranco Aramburu. Aissatou Julde Bari. Esak Mukhtar Bashir. Ethan Kyle Bean. Aurora Stefania Virginia Beaumont. Peregrine Blaine Beckett. Jameson Jean Bell. Cooper George Burkhoff. Charles Johansson Berman. Levia Abigail Sessions Bernhardt. Levia Abigail Sessions Bernhardt. Thomas Murphy Birkland. Ella Sadie Blum. Alexa Lyle Bauerfeind. John Patrick Brennan. Matthew Lyons Brody. Sky Noel Brown. Sydney Rose Brown. Mia Rose Brumstead. Amy Bueno. Catherine Pamela Butens. Benjamin Nathaniel Bushley. Genesis Bussey. Crosby Martin Burns. Lillian Hart Calvi. Giancarlo Carlucci. Otis David Caron. Martin Michael Carrier. Ashlyn Elizabeth Cardy. Caroline Wyatt Castle. Tyler John Castriata. Roberto Andres Mauricio Castro. Caitlin Elu Chan. Kevin Chen. Sydney Elizabeth Childs. Nicholas Caleb Chu. Christopher Ross Semino. Catherine Bowman Cochran. Paul Andrew Cochran. Alec Joseph Colachidi. Matthew Lyons Connolly. Benjamin Richard Conrad. William Brady Conway. Anders Johnson Corey. Harrison Brownlee Corman. Nayeli Cortez Sampanzi. Marisol Isabel Cortez. Jennifer Rose Casino. Isla Marie Cotter. Angela Kyla Craddock. Abigail Beatrice Kramer. Samuel Sutro Crawford. Hugh John Crossan III. Michael Christopher Cruz. Corinne Sayre Cullenberg. Alexandra Cleo Culver-Witt. Olivia Nell Cuneo. Robert Curbelo III. Matthew David Danielson. Abigail Catherine Danko. John Tynan Doust. Olivia Margaret Decker. Nicholas Michael Delamater. Lucy Stowe Del Cole. Emily Rose Delosa. Cole Aaron DeMagistris. Nikesh Timir Desai. Aldair Giovanni Desiderio. Paul Lucas Detry. Lucy Park Dietrich. Catherine Grace Devine. Eliza Christance Paterno Dewey. Will Graham Dewey. Katarina Bryn Dixon. Fawn Emmanuel Diduff. Dodat Duck. Thank you, Fawn. Jane Wentworth Dodge. Stephanie Dominguez. Madeline Madera Donovan. Tyler Howland.
Is there a rescue seizure medication? Does anyone have a rescue seizure medication? If so, please come forward to the umbrella. Folks, I'm going to ask Juan Martinez's family to come forward. But I also want to let you know that we have a seizure specialist who is here attending, and out of an abundance of caution, We're going to take one away, but he's walking, so let's give him a round of applause. And thank you to our medical professionals and volunteers. Thank you, everyone, for your concern, and for those of you who sprung into action and brought your expertise. We appreciate you. We're just going to take a minute for our graduates to find their seats and to get back in order as best they can. And then we will resume. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. We're going to pick up with the reading of the names. Tyler Howland Drake. Theodore Michael Duvall. Alexis Virginia Evans. Emily Foster Everett. Madeline Sophie Ewell. Jamie Lee Fairchild. Jing Feng. Lauren Catherine Farrell. Edward August Farrington. Carter Lee Fay. Rebecca Edith Feist. Sasha Feldberg. Haley Alice Fenlon. Samantha Taylor Furs. Elizabeth Mosca Finn. Maricela Flores Pineda. Ruby Isabella Ford. Anastasia Elizabeth Fowler. John Paul Frapont. Cameron Hall Frary. Tia Nicole Freund. Andrew Fry. Allie Sawyer Friedman. Edward Hudson Northrop Friedman. Molly Elizabeth Furman. Charles Hayden Gainey. James McKibben Gaither. Nicholas Joseph Elias Gajarski. Samuel Theodore Garber. Jeremiah Germain. Colby John Giberson. Victoria Hanako Gibeon. Robert Samuel Gillis. Evangelos Nicholas Glikos. Jacob Ebright Goff. Paula Abigail Gomez Flores. Carlos Andres Gomez Rivas. Nicholas Strauss Gonzalez. Carlos Roberto Gonzalez Alvarez. Jacob Maximilian Gordon. Jane Ruth Gordon. Trace Richard Gotham. James Gottschalk. Thomas William Graham. Nina Ming Greeley. Archie Joseph Green, Jr. Mark Walker Gregory. Molly Catherine Griffin. Stephen Stewart Garrett. James Barry Geeney. Alexander Santosh Gujarati. Nissim Gurung. Sebastian Gutierrez Garcia. Caitlin Marie Haggerty. Sophia Yuri Han. Lowell James Hairston. Helen Curry Hale. Good job. Kyle Christopher Hamilton. Aaron Kamakamalu Hanlon. Nicholas Philip Monk Hansen. Julia Hannes. Abigail Margot Harkness. Molly Elizabeth Harmon. Dargan Grace Harris. Devin Elijah Harris. Tamaki Hashiramoto. Amelia Long Hawkins. George E. Hawkins III. Hallie Rose Hain. Aaliyah Shai Henry. Salvador Ulysses Hernandez Felipe. Lucia Elizabeth Hill. Ethan Coy True Hindle. Jamie Walsh Hollander. Nash Alexander Holly. Alex Kessel Horowitz. John Samuel Huff. Andrew Todd Howell. Lendro Longchi Hu. Ethan Huang. Hoshwin Ricky Huang. Alexander Stewart Hunt. Fikita Bryn Hunt. David Foster Ingraham. Luke Murray Janik. Noah Michael Jankowski. Malika Jenna. Ann Gamble Jennings. Julia Hayan Jong. Kendra Jung. Jung Shinyu. Walter Louis Joachim Del Pollo. Isabel Amy Job. Jacob Allen Johnson. Julia Ann Johnson. Charlotte Duffy Jones. Zakir Kian Jones. Claire Nicolina Kaminsky. Davina Kamwanya Kabantu. Maya Kormakar. Samuel Rees Kartsonis. Maya Sophia Kaslow. John Murphy Kawakami. Ellery Susan Kearns. William Russell Keene. Julia Amaya Kenderov. Allison Kate Kennedy. Morgan Blake Kennedy. Victor Kimutai Kering. Daisy Marie Kettle. Sabi Ahmed Khan. Madison Kilfoyle. Barry Aquila Kilmister. Yuri Ku Kim. Julia Hope Kindler. Anne Claire Canali. Brian David Kirk. Sebastian Jean-Albert Kleitman. Hunter Franklin Klingensmith. Theodore Clay Konigsbauer. Livia Nightingale Cossack. Sadie Ray Kriegler. Elijah Warren Kushner. John Charles LaCase. Phasma Virginia Landrum. Jacqueline Marie LaPlante. Samuel James Lasky. James Lawrence V. Matthew Joseph Laser. Bridget May Lee. Madeline Sujung Lee. Sebastián de Jesus León Fallas. Avery Elizabeth Leonard. Josephine Jess Levy. Isaac George Cotton Levenger. Kobe Zane Levison. Nathaniel Phelps Lewis. Annie Lee. Zhang Zhang Lang. Rachel Joyce Liazos. Arely Lacano. Elias Joseph Levin Lindquist. Luke Francis Linehan. Daniel Shuhong Liu. Sophie Hannah Love Webb. Rachel Elizabeth Lowell. Hongka Lu. Chunda Lu. Isabel K. Lucier. Theodore Pavlenko Lutton. Daniel Edward Lynch. Daniel Peter Moss. Claudia Baxter Mabley. Andrew Quinn McCauley. Alma Noel Mackick. Paige Marin Maggot. Ty Hastings Manasco. Colin Turgeon Markey Booton. Andrea Martagon Moctezuma. Juan Carlos Martinez. Peter Bates Mason. William Magnus Masterson. Avery Julia Matthias. Sean Benjamin Matthias. Johanna Waldron Matthews. Isabel Jin May. Ian Alexander Myral Boyle. Corbin Michael McAlpine. Elise Rose McCambly. Simon Levinsky McCormick. Jacob Marley McAvoy. Aiden Francis McGaw. Campbell Crosby McKendry. Isabel Renee McKinley. Marjorie Elin McLeod. Maeve Rooney McSloy. Lucinda Juliet Med. Criselda Mellet. Delilah Bliss Meyer. Caroline Thayer Milne. Levi Schaefer Mindlin. Evandro Vieira Montero. Andrew Evans Monteith. Connor Patrick Montgomery. Aaliyah Trish Moore. Benjamin Joseph Morse. Anthony Morton, Jr. Isabel K. Muller. Grace Elizabeth Murphy. Jason Avadiz Nahigian. Edward Allen Nelson. Alexandra Navarez. Peter Chan Nguyen. Do you want it? Elliot Jensen Nida. Juan Sebastian Nahenki. Viero Atembi Nikemgong. Dylan Logan Nordstrom. Caroline Rogers Norman. Delaney Adana Wachaku. Faith Chakama Wando. Sadie Elizabeth O'Neill. Hannah Joyce Orton. Matthew Pryor Osgood. Ruby Sarah Parlberg. Miguel Angel Pacheco Gonzalez. Marcos Felipe Pacheco Soto. Owen Thomas Palmieri. Maeve Elizabeth Parmalee. Maxwell Holden Patterson. Thomas Dundas Peacock. George Putnam Peck. Priscilla Lizeth Peraza. Maria Francisca Puraira Pintu Kushtaira da Hausha. Timothy James Perry. Ava Rosemary Petrin. Cole Cameron Fair. Sydney Nguyen Fan. Lucinda Farrer Pike. Peyton Ann Pivick. Lucia Pizarro. Aru Poleo Vargas. Rachel Nina Porter. Jack Mitchell Potash. John Mason Milnes Price. Alexandra Bernice Prygance. Jackson William Quinn. Olivia Hannawal Rabin. Helena May Raddock. Aaron Ramos. Sydney Layla Raskani. Jacob Wyatt Rains. Adam Joseph Ramondi. Aiden Gilmore Riano. Aiden Russell Richmond. Emma Laughlin Rippey. Danielle Alejandro Rodriguez. Diana Esmeralda Rodriguez. Madeline Kiken Roloffs. Charlotte Olivia Rubin. Leah Ruck. Wasan Sean Saba. Phi Kamanchanook Sejium. Connor Thomas Sauce. Lauren Nicole Salazar. Cristina Luz Salazar Gutierrez. Jacqueline Rachel Samuels. Anna Elizabeth Sarrazin. Jaron Cabanilla Sato. Chi Mei Schmidt. Lucas Kyle Schneider. Matthew Carter Schreiber. Jeremy David Schreiber. Cal Deary Schrupp. Pia Dagmar Schultz. Claire Lauren Scott. Olivia Grace Celine. Samantha Caroline Shapiro. Derek Shen. Elias Karu Sherbakov. Mira Rose Shind. Mary McCaffrey Shine. Anissa Shoshi. Casey James Schultes. Mohammed Mahdi Obaid Shwani. Wen Tao Taylor C. Quinn Patricia Simmons. Samantha Lillian Simmons. Peter James Simplicio. David Willis Simsack. Haley Elizabeth Singer. Sasha Alexander Small. Leo Nicholas Smart. Abigail Rose Somoski. Kyle Everett Sprague. Hope Sierra Stamp. Ryan Wallace Standard. Emma Frances Stadelman. Miriam Phoebe Stern. Bethlehem Grace Stevens. David Harrington Stevenson. Logan Jeffrey Strauss. Piper Bartlett Strunk. Clara Heike Stuckey. Alexander Hess Suni. Julia Marie Tana. Antonia Catherine Taylor. Stella Day Terry. Tan Duc Ang. Colin Peter Toman. Noah Jameson Timmer. Natalie Sarah Titus. Sydney Samuel Toga. Celia Tolan. Amy Patricia Townend. Brian Tran. Quinlan Manning Trent. Huck Thomas Triggs. Robert Sutherland Underhill. Emma Elizabeth Upton. Joseph Lumbai Vineyard. Alexandra Voigt Shelley. Emma Elizabeth Volkers. Sarah Elizabeth Waite. David William Walker. John David Walker. Layla Isabella Walker. Amelia Elizabeth Wallace. Emily Catherine Walsh. Jinzua Allen Wong. Mingzhang Wang. Stephen Eugene Ward. Eliana Claire Weissman. John Rawson Welch. Evan Jeffrey Childs Wells. Charlotte Bernice Welsh. Grace Kathleen Wanger. Anna Weilman Farwell. Nicholas Weilman Farwell. Alexander John Wheelock. Olivia Rose Wiener. Ryan Scott Williams. Prentice Adarius Wilson. Helen Elizabeth Wisdom. Jaden Shepard Witchrock. Adrian Xinghong Wong. Spencer Russell Wood. Josephine Betty Woodruff. Alice Ingrid Ruck. Kai Yin. Jiang Yi Young. Gianluca Jornet de Rosas. Natalie Elizabeth Young. Riley McCormick Young. Stella Elizabeth Youngkin. Xinyi Zhong. Yuyin Zhang. Yuhat Zhou. Xin Chen Zhong. Edmund Squires Zuis.
I now ask the members of the graduating class to stand, and will the senior marshals please direct the class to move their tassels from right to left, thereby signifying their degree.
Bates College class of 2024, on behalf of my fellow alumni on the platform, in the audience, and around the globe, I am honored to enthusiastically congratulate you on your momentous accomplishment and welcome you into the Bates College Alumni Association. "31 years ago, I sat where you are now, eagerly awaiting the next chapter of my life and the future that it holds, while also anxious about leaving this special place that had been the center of my universe and home for 4 years. As your time as college students is coming to an end, but you will be an alum for the rest of your life. You are joining a community of 24,000 engaged, dynamic, and accomplished Bobcats who are embodying our motto of ardor and devotion all around the world. While every class has a unique experience based upon the events that impact our time here at Bates, we have in common the times that we have blamed the Maine weather for being late to class, lingered in commons with friends new and old for far too long, nervously submitted our senior thesis, wondering if more time would have helped, and joyfully, apprehensively sat where you sit today. Bates is a family, and like all families, it comes with privileges and responsibilities. Bates alumni have been key to the strength of our college since its founding. So I greatly encourage you to stay engaged, stay curious, and stay connected. And seek the joy in this place, the people, and the ideas that it has introduced you to. Actively seek out other alums when possible and connect with those that reach out to you. Your path after Bates may not be linear, but everywhere you turn, you will find a Batesy holding the door for you and supporting you on your journey. Congratulations.
Class of 2024, you came to us as students, and today you leave us as college graduates and alumni, but of course, you never really leave us or each other. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud to have been able to share part of this journey with all of you all. as the first class that I have the honor of ushering from Bates out into the world. You will all have a very, very special place in my heart. This has been a glorious day, and before the benediction, I just want to leave you with this. It's a short phrase that is both my charge to you as your president and also my wish for you as someone who has grown very fond of this class. And it's please go out in the world, do well, and do good. Congratulations to the class of 2024. Following the benediction, I ask the graduates to remain seated in their place until the platform party and the faculty have recessed. The faculty will greet you as you recess. We ask members of the audience to remain in place until the recession is concluded. And then following the recession, please join us for lunch in front of Commons on the Bardwell Field.
Please join me in a final moment of blessing, a final moment together as a class of 2024. Holy One, Sacred Many, we gather for this last breath, these last minutes, for the incomparable class of 2024. Graduates, the path you have traveled to this moment has been a decidedly particular one. It was never a straightforward trail marked with blazes of generations past. It was a trailhead start of COVID-centered dorm drop-offs and remote work in your first year, and then you trod cautiously over the roots and rocks of many campus traditions as they shifted and transformed, academic challenges and relearning how to learn in person, grief and healing for our wider world and for our own beloved city. Through all of this, you kept your footing and you made your way. The terrain gave you new eyes for gratitude, for deep and meaningful friendships, and the familiar joys of short-term and puddle jump returning. And now you have found yourself almost suddenly at the same summit reached by thousands of Batesies before you. Though your trail has been markedly different, you, dear graduates, with resilience have blazed something new, something wondrous. So may we breathe in the expansiveness of this moment. Look ahead to the majestic horizon before us where something new awaits. Look back at the trail magic of good faculty, caring staff, loving families who sustained you along the way. And hear this reassurance, hear this blessing. You are strong navigators. You know how to appreciate challenge and wonder at wonder. You have everything you need when you lean on each other. You have and will hold on to hope with every step. Blessings for the next trail that awaits you. May it be so. Amen.
you.